Europe's first humans were likely wiped out by a sudden freeze 1.1 million years ago. Europe underwent extreme cooling about 1.1 million years ago, which coincides with a gap in hominin habitation. This is according to a new study find. Europe's first humans, a population of the archaic human species Homo erectus, were probably wiped out by an extreme cooling event about 1.1 million years ago, the new study says. The previously unknown temperature downturn coincided with what's known about human habitation of the continent, the researchers suggest. Fossils and stone tools show that Homo erectus arrived in Europe from Asia between 1.8 million and 1.4 million years ago. Previous research has found, but they seem to have died out throughout Europe about 1.1 million years ago. The next evidence of archaic humans in Europe is from about 900,000 years ago, possibly after a later and more robust species, Homo antecessor, arrived there from Africa or Asia, they say. There is an apparent gap of 200,000 years, study senior author Kronis Tsedzaki says, a paleoclimatologist at University College London. He says this gap occurs at the same time as a newfound cooling phase, which suggests that the cold drove or wiped out any archaic humans, according to the new study published August 10th in the journal Science. There's also ocean evidence. The researchers found evidence for the cooling in cores of marine sediments sampled from the ocean floor off the coast of Portugal. Their analysis of elemental isotopes in the remains of marine plankton from both the ocean surface and the ocean floor, along with an analysis of pollen grains from land-based vegetation, showed an abrupt cooling about 1.15 million years ago. Tsedzaki said the water temperature near Lisbon, which is now around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 21 degrees Celsius on average, fell to around 43 Fahrenheit, that's 6 degrees Celsius, while Europe's landmass underwent a similar cold phase, which may have caused its northern ice sheets to advance southward. The researchers also determined that there had been a sustained influx of cold water starting about 1.13 million years ago, which they've interpreted as meltwater from the disintegration of Europe's ice sheet as the continent warmed. Our planet had gone through numerous cold and warm phases, and conventional timelines suggest the Ice Age peaked around 900,000 years ago, Tsedzaki said, although there have been suggestions of an even earlier cold period, about 1.1 million years ago. There was no hard evidence of it before now, he said. The main reason for the cooling seems to have been astronomical. Jupiter's gravitational influence meant that Earth's orbit at that time was roughly circular around the Sun, a circumstance associated with other cooling phases in our planet's climate, Tsedzaki says. The period was also marked by a significant drop in the level of greenhouse gas carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere, but whether that was the cause of the cooling or a consequence of it is not known, he said. Intense cold? The new research also provides a detailed reconstruction conducted by study co-author Axel Timmerman, a climate scientist at the Institute of Basic Science in South Korea, revealing that the extreme cooling would have made Europe too cold for archaic humans. The cold would have made it harder for them to find food, as fewer plants and animals that ate them would have survived. Moreover, archaic humans themselves were not suited for the cold. The authors wrote that the worsening environment would have challenged small hunter-gatherer bands, compounded by the likelihood that early hominins lacked sufficient fat insulation and the means to make fire, effective clothing or shelters, leading to much lower population resilience, the authors wrote in their study. Paleoanthropologist Michael Petraglia, director of the Australian Centre for Human Evolution at Griffith University in Brisbane, said the new study made good sense. The environmental, fossil, and archaeological evidence are in good agreement for regional abandonment and perhaps even the extinction of early human populations, he said. Petraglia was not involved in the research, but he noted its relevance to the modern study of climate change. This is a story of how climate variability had profound effects on hominin populations in the past, with implications for all of humanity today who face extreme weather events and changes in ecosystems, he said. And this is from Tom Metcalf on Live Science. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.